We are joined by the one and only Brady Couto. Brady, how are you tonight?
You know, you had me playing the guitar with Ozzy there in the intro, so it's already a great night. Thanks to you guys for having me on. As always, love this show and love everything you guys are doing.
Well, I appreciate it. So we've never had the formal Brady interview on the show. You've come on before, talked about some Fast Friday stuff, all of that. So tonight you get your due here. How'd you catch the racing bug, Brady?
I caught the racing bug, unlike I think anybody else that I am surrounded by at Seekonk. A lot of people there grew up racing fans, or their parents raced, or worked at the track. Mine didn't. We, as a family, I shouldn't even say as a family. It's more like just my dad, and then the rest of us would be forced to watch Daytona, and like that was it. That's as far as racing went for really most of my childhood. So when you get a text from a family friend saying that, the last he heard, Seekonk Speedway was hiring for an announcer, you're like, yeah, okay, let's try this. And then you go through a very honest interview process, and you say, I've been there once. I'm not a racing fan, but I'm willing to learn. So I got the job, and then I got the bug by doing the job, by learning, by growing, by asking questions, by really just being a sponge from other members of the media, from the flagmen, from the race directors, from the pit steward to the car owners, drivers, teams, crew chiefs, really anyone that makes the sport go round. So I think the more I learn, and every time, I go to the racetrack, I learn something new. So the more questions you ask, the more the bug grows, and the more you're interested in it. And it's something that I say it all the time, Miles. I'm so thankful I found it, because it's made me a better announcer. It's made me a better person. And it's really the racing bug. It shaped a big part of my life.
So for those who might not know too much about Fast Friday, obviously the youth division down at Seekonk for the most part, let the first-time listener know a little bit about Fast Friday and the coverage you have.
Sure. So Fast Friday is our intro to motorsports at Seekonk Speedway. We run 5 divisions every Friday night from May to September. We've got our Bandolero division, so Bandolero Bandits, Bandolero Outlaws. Bandits run from age 7 to 12. Outlaws run from age 13 to 16. We have Everett Auto Parts Sport Force, which is basically a 4-cylinder. We go Acura, Mitsubishi, Saturn, a couple other makes that guys and gals should use, I should say. We've got our Pure Stocks as well. Pure Stocks, best way I can describe them is that the next, like, you want to jump to a sportsman or a street stock, but you're not ready yet. You go there. That's probably the best division you can go to learn. Aside from one of my favorite divisions across all 9 of our divisions, the Nick's Pit Stop Legends. These legend cars, a lot of guys on the pro circuit get their start running these things. They are fast, they are small, they are wild, they are out of control, and they're a whole heck of a lot of fun. So Fast Friday is compelled of those 5 divisions, and they are essentially a breeding ground for our Saturday night divisions. And as we have mentioned on the airways, and I've mentioned on other platforms of media, can be a breeding ground for just the world of sports at regional levels and at national levels as well.
Outside of your time at Seekonk on Fridays, or maybe even a handful of Saturdays, do you indulge in racing at all outside watching it or reading up on it? Are you a fan of anything, really?
I do. I will watch as many more the Cup races than the Truck or ARCA or the Xfinity than anything. But I try to be at the track at as many Saturday nights as possible. I don't get to other short tracks often, but if the opportunity prevents myself, I try to get down, and it's all, like I said, it's part of that learning process. And, once you get the bug, it's hard to get rid of it. So now it's not uncommon for me to, on a Sunday afternoon in July here, throw on a NASCAR race, and I'm yelling at the TV for whatever reason.
So, Brady, I'm a weekly regular on Friday nights, and one of the most interesting stories happening this year is Cam Mannion there coming from behind the flag stand to driving a race car. What do you think about that?
He is such a good kid. He's such an awesome kid. He's a student of the sport. And he and his parents had told me they were thinking about it, and they wanted to, but they weren't 100% sure. And then through the grapevine, when the season started, I heard they had bought a car, and I was so thrilled. And they're the nicest people, hardest working people, good people. And the support that kid had, he must have had a baker's dozen people in the stands for him the first night of the race. He joined us about a third of the way through the season, and he rolled off scratch, and we said, from Taunton, Mass, Cam Mannion, and just to my right, there is an explosion of cheering and applause, and it was so great that this kid, who's probably pooping a brick right now, right, is, I know I would be, has this a bunch of support, and once he's going to get his feet under him, and he's going to get used to it. But I love that the kid is exploring different avenues of the sport. I think it's awesome.
The one thing I will say about that, his first race, he had exceptional pace for somebody who never drove one of those cars. He did spin out a little bit because he was failing his boundaries, but it was really cool to watch that. And that's all the Fast Friday program, because he's somebody there. He's on the flag stand flagging. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and you've got to get your sail under you, right? If that makes sense. So, yeah, we see kids, they just spin out, and maybe someone with a naked eye may go, "Oh my goodness, this is taking forever." And well, yeah, you're not wrong. Some of those races do take a long time, but you got to understand is that with a lot of these kids, this is their first season, or in some cases their first week or month, right, behind the wheel of a race car. It's not, the guys on TV, right, make it look a lot easier than it actually is. So he's got a good car, number one. Just based on that machine itself, its previous track record is a strong one. He's got a great team behind him. He knows the sport, right, from a technical level, being a flag man. And, seeing him start doing it in the bleacher, my first couple of years, he would sit in the grandstands and he would do it. And then over the last couple of years, they would have him flag the Bandolero races with KJ Boucher. And so, again, now to see him do both, it's really cool. And, it couldn't happen to a better kid.
So we've both been there a couple of years now, obviously covering the radio show last year on Fridays, the year before, filling in a little bit with you. We've seen the brothers Brent and Bryson Robideau kind of climb their way up the charts at Seekonk. Talk to us a little bit about the season so far, as Bryson has moved into the pure stocks and is racing again against his brother. Talk to us a little bit about the Robideaus and what you've seen from them this season so far.
Well, Brent is Brent, and you could put Brent behind the wheel of basically anything, and he's going to be successful. And I've heard, not necessarily about the Robideaus, but people just say, well, you can give anybody a beautiful race car and they're going to do well. And that's not always the case. It's nice to have the top-line equipment and the support and the intelligence that Robideau Family Motorsports has, but you also have to be a wheelman, and you have to make split-second decisions, no different than baseball. You have to make split-second decisions pretty often. And Brett's ability to do that really is second to none. I mean, how many 16-year-olds the kid's racing on average, men and women, double his age, right? He's still in high school, and he's making it look easy. Track division champion, rookie of the year last year. And he's got 3 wins already. So he's having so much success, and it's great to see. He's a good kid, humble kid, hardworking kid. Bryson, by Bryson's standards, it's not a good year, right? But by everybody else's standards, it is a good year. He's the car is staying in one piece week after week, which is the most important thing. And in a week one, they battled a couple different mechanical gremlins, but it just came with working everything out and finding Bryson's comfort level, and the kid is getting better week after week. Consistent top 12s, top 10s, top 8s, things that they're not racing for a championship. They're racing to get comfortable in the car so that next year, you can continue to set the goal a little higher. So, it's not the Bryson that we saw last year where he, won an outlaw championship same night as his brother, and he took home quite a few feature wins. It's not the same Bryson. But if you allow the kid to take his time, learn the division, learn his competition, learn the car, he's going to be fine. I have no doubt. Maybe as soon as next year, the year after, he'll be fighting he'll be racing meaningfully come September.
When you have a chance to talk to these kids or these families, do you take a role as I'm an adult talking to a child, so I have to be supportive, or does the media interviewer, announcer take over, or is there a balance of both where you want to interview, I guess, these drivers, but at the same time they're maybe half your age or even more, so you kind of have to have that balance of, this is a kid, I can't be maybe as honest as I want to be?
Well, I think it just depends on who. And that's not going to say I'm going to change. I'm not going to put a mask on, right, to talk in front of somebody else and then take it off and be like the real me, to another kid. But I think it's all of, a comfort level. And, what I'll give you an example, right? I'm pretty close with we'll take the Robidos, right? I'm pretty close with Brent and Bryson. So I may jokingly go to Brent, right, after like a 6th place finish and say, you stunk tonight, right? But he knows I'm joking, and he knows I wouldn't say that meaningfully, right? But maybe to a kid in the Bandit who I don't really know as well, I wouldn't dare say that, because why? Like, that's just not, I'm not doing anybody any favors. So I like to treat everyone as my equal, because, if they don't show up, I don't have a job, right? That's the way I see it. And I try to remind them that, like, I'm not I don't want to be viewed as important, or maybe not important, but I don't want to be viewed as like this tall, like, oh, announcer, scary. No, I'm your friend. I can be your friend. We can have a cool conversation on the mic and off the mic. So I think it's just really learning who they are as individuals, and then really exploiting it from there with the on air or off the air. So
just building on that a little bit, I'll tell you one experience I have. I talk to a bunch of those kids weekly. Robidos are some, Vanessa's another one. They're so intelligent as drivers. They really are. Yeah. I mean, I've driven that place, and I know my tricks, and they start telling me stuff, and I have to look at things differently because they know exactly what they're talking about. I have a couple predictions I'm going to throw at you real quick.
Uh-oh.
Bryson Robido is going to win a race this year. That's a different car, and they're starting to get that car dialed in, and that's a car that John, their father, has had familiarity with in the past. They're going to dial that car in. Crystal Murray is figuring out the pure stock. It's a little bit of a change for her. She's looking good, too. And Vanessa's going to win a race in the Legends. Those are my picks. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's both. Those are both solid picks. Those are both solid predictions. And Ryan, too, in the late models, too. I mean, the kid was leading laps.
You bring up a good point there, Brady, too. I was just going to say it, but finish your thought, because I got to run one by you.
He is such a let me just say this: he is such a good kid.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah,
such a good kid. The family, such a good family. You know, and those are the people. Do I want everyone to win? Yes. Do I want everyone to have fun while they race? Yes. But as you grow older and as you start learning more about people, there are the people that you maybe get a more of a glimpse as to what life is like in the garage. And I've gotten that glimpse with the Vanessas. And there's a lot of people rooting for this kid, whether they're involved in, you know, RVJ racing or not. He's gonna get his, whether it be this year or next. I think he's close to a win. I would say in both divisions. But the problem is, and it's a great problem to have, and in my humble opinion, he races in two divisions, and they're probably the two toughest divisions we have at this racetrack. So the fact that he's the youngest kid in a late model, B, he's the second youngest kid in a legend, the second youngest to Ayla Martin. He's having an outstanding year. He really is, and he's fighting not so much in the late model. He's not fighting for a playoff spot, I don't believe, but he's definitely fighting for one in the legends. That it's all confidence with him, and he knows what he can do, and he's not a stupid driver. I've got full belief in him that he'll get one. It's just along with a lot of other kids, it's not a matter, and not even just kids, a lot of individuals. I like to say it's not a matter of if, it's when, and Ryan is the perfect definition of that, I think.
So we're up against it, but Friday night, Fast Fridays going on all summer long. Give the website and how people can get tickets to come on out on a Friday night.
Yeah, go ahead to SeekonkSpeedway.com, and there's a tickets tab. You go ahead and get the tickets there. We do sell them at the gate as well. I'll put it this way: for the families out there, right? If you're looking for something to do on a Friday that's affordable, that's fun, and that will have your kids leaving and saying, "I want to do that again," head down to a Fast Friday at Seekonk. They are so fun. They are really unlike anything that we have racing-wise in this region. So even if you want to get involved too in the sport, come down, chat with teams, chat with us, right? As media members, you know, Kevin and I will always say our doors are always open, and just if you want to get involved, or if you're looking for something enjoyable to do that's not going to hurt the wallet as much, come on down. It's a really good time. It is.